Michael Steele, let me start with you. I started this conversation with Mark McKinnon and Cornell Belcher, who know a whole lot about campaigns. And I haven't had a chance to ask you about this, but Thomas Friedman last week wrote a pretty pointed piece that Donald Trump is seeking to wag the dog, but as opposed to in the fictional dark comedy, his war to distract from crisis is one being waged on Americans in the streets of American cities. Do you see it that way?
I do. And not only does he want to wag the dog, he wants to break its legs as he's doing it, so it can't move. And it can't come back. And that's the ultimate takedown here. And it still frustrates me to no end how folks out there across the country continue to play into a narrative that they're being set up to play into. There are plenty of other sites and areas inside Portland and elsewhere around the country that aren't federal. Do not give the president the link he's looking for to connect that dot. Go to state property, go to a mall, go someplace else. But you don't have to open up that Pandora's box of crazy that Trump wants to open and have a cell phone there ready to videotape your actions and reactions and play it back in his campaign commercials to say, see, I told you, this is the America they want. And so there's a different way to approach this conversation. And it starts by being smart about who your opponent is. Donald Trump will always tell you what he's going to do. He doesn't shy away from that. And you know why? Because he believes you can't stop him. He believes you can't beat him. And consistently, from Mueller to right now, we've watched countless institutions and individuals, groups and organizations play into his hand. He's down now, but there's a great piece in The Atlantic that talks about he's not out. And there's a lot that can happen between now and September, let alone November, that repositions Donald Trump to get the upper hand in this campaign. And that Biden up by 12 could very quickly become Biden down by 5.
I do not disagree with anything you said, but here's my question. How is he getting away with blaming anything happening anywhere in America on anyone other than himself? These are images of Donald Trump's America. These aren't images of Joe Biden's America. He's literally, at the moment, not in charge of anything.
Because he's the grandmaster of writing the script and the narrative, painting the picture. He is P.T. Barnum on steroids, recognizing that not only is there a sucker born every minute, but there are countless suckers born every minute. And so he keeps playing this narrative over and over again. And it speaks to me to one thing that I think, Nicole, we can't lose sight of about this election. There are a lot more people who like what Trump is doing than we want to accept or want to acknowledge. And he knows that. And that's why it works. And that's why it continues to work. These people they're out there protesting Donald Trump. He flips the script and makes it as if they're protesting against average, everyday Americans, hardworking Americans who are just trying to get a paycheck. Oh, by the way, you had a hand in cutting off those paychecks because of how you responded to COVID-19 and how you responded to the economy. But that's not part of the script. And that's what we need to be smart about, I think.
Claire, are Democrats being smart enough about it to guard against what Michael Steele describes, a change of fortunes in the polls for Joe Biden?
Well, Donald Trump is going to his playbook that worked in 2016. In 2016, he had to create an enemy, and he made Mexicans and Muslims the enemy in 2016. Now he's trying to make Americans. He's declaring Americans the enemy that are protesting racial injustice. So how do we keep from allowing him to make Americans the enemy? Well, one of the things that has to happen here is we in the media also have an obligation to tell the story accurately. I saw in Ferguson there was a tendency of the media to play the same B-roll over and over. And the B-roll many times was the most dramatic. But there was not a lot of footage of hour after hour of grandmothers and children's peacefully protesting, hundreds and thousands of them. I know that is going on in Portland. It's by and large a peaceful protest. But what is being put in front of the American people is way too much of the footage of the fireworks and the shields and, tearing down the fence. And that's a teeny portion of the people. And I'm with Michael. I mean, it's not smart for them to be picking a federal building. I'm all for the protests. I think it's great. But the people who are doing violence and the people who are destroying property are really damaging the legacy of John, the wonderful man that is lying in state right now at the Capitol. And they're also helping Donald Trump.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.